Hello. Hello, Prof.
We are live. We are live. We are live.
Okay. Good afternoon from Saudi Arabia. Good morning to those of us in Nigeria. And good morning to our first edition of Open House, the Architects Resourcery Open House. The Architects Resourcery Open House is located with the headquarters at Jos. And the Architects Resourcery, it's not a new organization. We've been on for over 10 years. The vision of the Architects Resourcery is to be a premier hub for sustainable architecture and construction, fostering innovation, collaboration, and education that empowers communities to build resilient environment while preserving cultural heritage. This is our vision. And before I go further, the Architects Resourcery is a body of distinguished practitioners and educators in architecture all over the globe. We have Professor Omoefe as our director, as Ola Adisa as our principal researcher, and we have other researchers. So what's our mission? Our mission is, one, advocacy. In terms of our advocacy, we want to promote sustainable building practice and raise awareness about the importance of environmentally responsible architecture. I repeat, our advocacy is to promote sustainable building practices and raise awareness about the importance of environmentally responsible architecture. Number two is education and training. We all know that education and training is something that is constant. We cannot say that we get trained and just stop there. Training is something that is a continuous process. So our second mission is education and training to provide comprehensive educational programs and skills development workshop that equip individuals with the knowledge and competencies needed for sustainable construction. Our third mission is research and development, to engage in cutting-edge research that advances the field of sustainable architecture and contributes to the body of knowledge related to climate resilience and cultural preservation. The fourth one is cultural preservation. If we say cultural preservation, is to document and promote Nigerian architectural heritage through a repository that highlight historical styles, significant buildings, and indigenous practice. I will pause here to elaborate. When we talk about sorry for that network itch. As I was saying before that technical failure, we were talking about our mission and our vision. And number four, let me reiterate, number four is cultural preservation. And I made mention of the advent of sustainability, how building is responsible for over 35% the cost of climate change and global warming as a result of energy that we use from buildings. And you see, cultural preservation will play a long way in not just preserving our culture, but enhancing reduction of climate change. The fifth one is networking and collaboration. This hub intends to create a platform for architects, allied professionals, researchers, and students. When we say student, we're not just looking at university student. From all the way from primary through secondary to the university, we intend to educate the populace on issue about sustainability, on issue about how this the future leaders could be entrepreneurially inclined. So networking and collaboration is a big one. We want to create a platform for architects, allied professional, researchers, and So as I was saying, through this effort, the Architects Resourcery aim to lead the way in transforming the architectural landscape, ensuring a sustainable future for the generation to come. And this is our introduction, and this is who we are. In Architects Resourcery, we have 3 pillars. And these pillars are advocacy, skills, and networking. The Architects Resourcery, I repeat, we have 3 pillars: advocacy, skills, and networking. What is the future of architectural practice? As the building themselves become more complex and technical, the architect, among many new, must and cannot at least remain traditional in any possible sense. As you can see the drawing back there, while we were in school, we used board throughout, and those set after I started using AutoCAD. It has even gone beyond that. We could design with AI. So what does the future hold for the architect? In the future, we may see more practitioners working in broad, interdisciplinary, internationally focused, creative, and strategic business as well, meaning architecture might not be the same way we used to think about it. So this is what the Architects Resourcery is promoting. This is what we stand for. The Architects Resourcery is a promising hub that's a one-stop for architects and people and the entire built environment to, improve, to see what are the current scenario, what are the current area of research and design. As we all know, design does not remain in one specific itinerary now. Design have gone beyond the traditional design. So this is our advocacy, especially after the Corona event. It's a new normal. The way we design, the way we think have elapsed, and we now design using AI. Still talking about advocacy, you will see that as we speak, what we used to see in fictional movies is right here with us in terms of design. We now design globally. Design has taken a new dimension. Take for instance, Neom in Saudi Arabia. Neom is a futuristic city. In this city, it's been designed that there's no use of car. It's a proposed smart city whereby zero emission. It's going to be a net zero emission of energy, carbon, and this city is already under construction. Similarly, if we think maybe Neom is far away in Saudi Arabia, we could see that the musician called Akon, he has proposed his own Wakanda. Akon proposed a 6 billion Wakanda village, which is AI inclined. Coming back home, we have the Eco Atlantic City. Eco Atlantic City is dubbed the Dubai of Africa. So all these cities are futuristic city, and this city are already with us. For those of us in Lagos, if you go to Eco Atlantic City, some of the buildings are already propping up. Here in Saudi Arabia, construction have started. Similarly with Akon Wakanda village. So definitely there's this advocacy that we need to, not to be left behind. And this is what the Architects Resourcery is promoting. And at the same time, still talking about sustainability, the Architects Resourcery, in essence, is we try to promote the use of, designs that are inclined towards reducing of energy, and the kind of how we generate our energy for our buildings. You can see that the three tiers proposed by the architects, Architecture 2030, shows that if the architects belong to tier 1 and tier 2, we could solve the problem of sustainability without even designing green buildings. You can see there are three tiers here. Tier 1 and tier 2 remains in the domains of the architect. This three-tier approach to sustainability design of heating, cooling, and lighting. This is the main cause of climate change. So tier 1 and tier 2 are the core value of the architect. It remains in the domain of architect. As you can see, it has to do with windows, orientation, glazing, insulation, location, colors, landscaping. All these are the basic things we learn in architectural schools. So this is what the Architects Resourcery is trying to reiterate. This is for advocacy. When moving to our second pillar, which is skills, the question is, after graduation, what skills have you acquired? Soft skill or the hard skills? If we look at this slide, you will find out that from source across the web, we have over 20 skills that are related to architecture. Is it communication? Is it a design skill? Business knowledge, teamwork, architectural rendering, computer-aided design, generic skills? Is it model making? Oh, these are all the skills. The question is, do we teach all these skills in our various institutes? Yes and no. Some of the skills we have to learn them by ourselves. Some of the skills we have to learn them on our own. That's why when I teach students in class, and what we intend to use in the Architects Resourcery is three pedagogies. We have that pedagogy, heutagogy, cybergogy, and the pedagogy itself, that participants will learn by themselves using the online processes, which is cybergogy. And heutagogy, you have to learn some skills yourself. But what we'll be providing in the Architects Resourcery are some of these skills which you can, come to the Architects Resourcery and learn. Mind you, our hub is an hybrid hub, face-to-face and online. So most of these skills will be part of what we'll be delivering. And this is for skills. And the third pillar is networking. We cannot do without networking. In this slide, in order to network adequately, you need to acquire skills that has to do with networking. Active listening, follow-up, email writing. Even the way you write your email matters. Body language, when you meet your client, when you go for a meeting, the body language tells you what's up next. Build relationship, possibility, digital network, respect, leverage on social media. This one is a must. Leverage on social media, I tell you, if you are not hooked up in social media, you will not be there. As we speak, we are streaming live, both on YouTube, Instagram, LinkedIn. So these are some of the advent that we can use to promote and stay in practice. So there are networks that network skills that will be taught in our hub. The Architect Resourcery promised to bring all this as a package. Our three pillars. I reiterate, our three pillars are advocacy. What is the current status of architectural practice? And don't forget, advocacy is linked to that awareness. What we're doing now, we're trying to create awareness in the nexus of and the frontiers of the practice. Then the skills we have you acquired those skills that will make you stand out among your other? What are the skills you have, both hard and soft skill? Mind you, if you don't know how to use AutoCAD, you don't know the knowledge of BIM, you might not be employable in some certain field of architectural practice. So the other one is networking. So these three pillars are the pillars of Architect Resourcery.
On to know.
Are you ready with the first video? Good morning from Nigeria. Good morning from Nigeria. Once more, sorry for the echo. We've just heard a very dynamic presentation about who we are, our mission, our vision, and our pillars for the Architects Resourcery. My name is Director Omoyefeola Adisa. I'm principal researcher with the Architects Resourcery. And I just want us to take a look at a couple of videos that we've made. This is our first open house. And so in order to ensure that everything was okay because of the network difficulties that we often experience from this end of the world, we have 3 recordings of certain individuals that were part of our conference. We actually had our first colloquium last December, and we just want to have some thoughts from 3 speakers, which we'll have you listen to shortly. We have Architect Professor E.L.A. Alukankum. You've just been listening to some snippets from an earlier interview with her, which is going to go on shortly. So just listening. Thank you. I don't want to say more than that because you're going to have an opportunity to introduce yourself. But it's always a delight to be with you because you have so much to offer and so much that you have been able to accomplish. So the first question I would like to ask you today is if you can let us know who you are and what are your interests.
Thank you. Good morning. Will I be able to say who I am? Okay. My name's to start with. Being the first child, I have so many names. My names, in fact, some I don't even tag them along any longer. But the three names that I usually use are Evelyn. My family name is Aludo. My father's name is Philip. Philibus in Hausa. So that's about it about me.
You're quite a modest person because we know that you are a professor of sustainability. Can you tell us a little bit about what it means to be a professor of sustainability?
I'm actually a, let's say, double barrel. It's not just sustainability. I'm a professor of sustainability, built environment, and climate change. Because when I was going into the sustainability, I didn't just go into sustainability. I kind of joined with climate change because at that time, even my supervisor, my PhD supervisor, when I told him that buildings were culprits because of the reading that I had done, I said, no, there is aircraft and all those smokes and all those machineries. I said, no, but that's what I discovered. And being an architect, I felt I should combine it. So that's how I got to combine the two together to be able to talk about how buildings also contribute largely to climate change. And now it's a common knowledge that buildings, in fact, up to 40, 45, depending on the country, percent of climate change.
Could you tell us how you even heard about the Architects Resourcery and why you're so willing to associate with us?
Sometimes when something comes up, you look at the background. Who are those behind it? And if they are credible people, you want to also identify with them. Actually, the first time I saw it was a flyer, and then going through the flyer, I saw the details, and then the brains behind the show, the sorcery um, program. Well, I see it as something that was good because it's like an advocacy to me. I saw it as an advocacy that wants to reach out, not just to professional architects, but people who are not in the profession, the general public. So it's a kind of like a pool for people to come and a cesspool where they come and get their knowledge, get information, improve on what they know, and things like that. So I felt it's something to identify with because you are going to enrich those who know, those who are yet to know, and those who are willing to know. I think I find it very interesting, and anything that will promote what is good, I think I'm in for it.
Thank you so much for your time. I don't know what your parting thoughts may be for us. I'm sure you wouldn't mind if we just take a little sweep and look at your office.
So I think I would want to just encourage that this idea should be more public, should be brought more to the public eye, and the different strata of people, whether professionals, non-professionals, should be involved, and then school children, because catch them young. So when you catch them young, the idea grows with them, and they will be different because they know better. So I think that is what I would say, and to say thank you for honoring me with this. And I'm very much available because I believe that if you simplify whatever, I don't want to, you see, I avoided using all the big grammars because I felt people may not really follow. And sometimes when people hear you say things, a more simplified version of whatever is being presented, the better for the general public and whoever is listening. So I think this is what I want to encourage.
Thank you so much, Professor ELA of the challenges of living in this part of the world, I think, is a network. I think one of the wonderful things that the Architects Resourcery can do going forward is to see how we can use low bandwidth to solve the problem of network connectivity in Nigeria. So we just listened to architect Professor Evelyn Alukankun. He's a fellow of the Nigerian Institute of Architects, the deputy dean of the Faculty of Environmental Sciences at the University of Jos. She's also a professor of climate change. That's just a snippet. You get to talk to more people like that. The next program, we are hoping to have a more interactive session. And now we want to listen to another erudite scholar, Professor Zanzan Akaka Uji, who's a professor of architecture. He's also a barrister and solicitor of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. And lately, in this outing, he's an inventor. So we're going to hear a little bit about what he has invented. And so let's just listen in. Thank you.
You're welcome here. This is a workshop for the production of Zanlock bricks. They are interlocking bricks. What you are seeing here are a set of interlocking bricks. You know, the whole idea about interlocking bricks came about 2014, when I observed that government had a big problem with providing adequate shelter for the poor and the vulnerable groups in Nigeria. And this was mainly because a lot of people had been rendered homeless because of a variety of issues. Man-made disasters, natural disasters, flooding, banditry, and so on. Many people had become IDPs. So all of them needed shelter, some kind of shelter. Many of them were hibernating. Some of them were staying with relations and things like that. So government was not even capable of providing adequate shelter for those that had become homeless in that kind of manner. So the idea came about because cost of materials had risen very rapidly all the time, and the wall being the main component of buildings, it is really what costs that creates a lot of problems for rising cost of building, the wall. And naturally, in Nigeria, the materials used for walls are sandcrete blocks and mortar. Now, the idea of interlocking bricks came about because interlocking bricks are called, the use of interlocking bricks is called mortar-less construction. They normally just interlock, and you don't need any mortar. But in most countries where interlocking bricks have been used, there have been a number of varieties, especially in terms of shapes. And what we did was to look around, first of all, to look at what kind of shapes will be sustainable and will actually take care of most of the thinking in interlocking bricks. Most of the interlocking bricks, we looked around and we investigated and interviewed people. We found that many of them interlock in a limited number of shapes, only in two directions, either face-to-face or back-to-back and sideways only. But our idea was to come up with interlocking bricks that took care of all of these problems, all of the challenges, so that they would be not only take care of building very quickly for people from the point of view of interlocking, but they would solve different sorts of problems. We'll have machinery. We have machinery that can, because these molds were made by hand. We made them by hand. So obviously, some of these challenges would be there. But if government buys this kind of idea and we get more funding, such as we got from TED Fund, I think we should be able to make use, we should be able to acquire more machinery that can give us the kind of idea that we really hope to generate for purposes of commercializing this. So that is where we are now. We're hoping that when we begin to clean the environment and create more jobs for the jobless and sustain the idea with the building of um, buildings that are cheap and inexpensive. I'm sure government will, and believe me, it is not only the bricks themselves. These are spin-offs. These are tiles, courtyard tiles. That spin-offs that have come from this idea. Again, you can see this is plastic, made of plastic, but you can see that we can make a lot of things can come out of it. Some of these are also things that have come out. It means that with this idea of using plastic, molten plastic, and mixing it with either fly ash or stone dust or laterite or sand, and we're hoping that government can buy into the idea, give us more funding, and so we can produce, get more machinery, and generate the idea, make it more worthwhile for everybody. I want to thank you very much.
Seeing the Zanlock blocks, this is something that is really exciting. I'm also part of this project. It's TED Fund funded, and we were also invited to be a part of the TED Fund fair last year. So this is part of advocacy. We're letting people know that there are things like this, there are products like this. And he was also one of our presenters at the Colloquium 2024, that's the TARIC 2024. The last person we are going to look at before we have a little video about what we do, other things that we do, and a live interaction. Let's just have a look at Stephen McAmar. He's Mr. Earth Construction. He's really into a lot of earth. Those of us on LinkedIn, we can appreciate him from his presentations on LinkedIn. It's all about earth construction. So we're just going to take a look, maybe a minute or two of thoughts. He came around some of the things that we are doing in DOS, the Architects Resourcery. We have an interlocking structure, just like I think it's a gen house, one of those. We have quite a number of ancillary structures that we used. So you get to take a look at that shortly.
Stephen Njimakama. I studied BSc Architecture, MSc Architecture, University of Jos. In between, I did a course in compressed stabilized earthquake technology. We used to call it compressed earthquake technology those days, but I used to argue about it, whether it's compressed stabilized earthquake or compressed earthquake. I had an interest in this way back, as far back as during my undergrad days. So it wasn't too much of a new thing for me. My interest in earthen architecture, I think it stemmed from about year 3 in university. There was a funny thing that happened. I don't want to mention his name. I hope none of the people from University of Jos are watching this. But we were wondering why the lecturer who took us in Nigerian traditional architecture, there was something about it. We all felt like, what was the importance of this course? But I think along the way, I just picked interest, and it has been one thing after the other. And this is where my research interest as a teacher. I teach at the Polytechnic in Nasarawa State. So one of the courses I've been taking is Nigerian traditional architecture, history of architecture, but my interest lies specifically on Nigerian traditional architecture, specifically walling, how to improve the walling, because that is almost the component that takes, let's say, 70-80% in building construction. So my interest has been in walling systems. Yeah, so over the past, like I said, compressed stabilizer brick has been there, but I came to be exposed to other forms of use of earthen architecture. We call it mud, but like I tell my students, mud sounds a bit primitive. It sounds a bit derogatory. So sometimes when I say it, I try to qualify it as not mud, but let's call it technically. Some people use clay, but even the clay itself, it's being you're not, it doesn't cover the whole thing. So earthen architecture, yes, it covers it more broadly. Yeah. So I basically that's the background I have, and that's where my interest in walling systems in earthen architecture. Yes. I came across it as most things now online, and I was like, "What is this?" But then when I realized that it was somebody that I knew, Professor Adisa, so I reached out, and then that was about the time. I think I'm going to the next question. I was asked to be a guest speaker at the Tarek 24. Really, it was a bit of it was all of a sudden. I was tied down to a site. I was doing some work, so I was even considering should I attend this or not. But then I looked at it. Those most opportunities come to tell your story, to sell a particular narrative, because the problem we have with compressed earthquake technologies, it has been around since as far back as 1993, 94, around those periods. But for some reason, it hasn't caught on. It hasn't caught on as you would want it. I gave this example, and I think I am free to give the example as long as I am able to speak about compressed earthquake technology. Almost everybody has heard of hydrofoam. You see it on DSTV, commercials on DSTV. What we have behind us here is an example of interlocking brick technology. This technology was taken to South Africa by two people I know. One is late now. He was my mentor. They took it and they exposed, the South Africans, and the South Africans picked up this thing, and then they developed, and then they're experts on this thing. So it's we're seeing a revival in earthen technology, mud architecture. I'll quickly go to Francis Kere. He's international. He won the Pritzker Prize in Architecture, what is equivalent to the Nobel Prize in Literature. He's from Mali, I think. Small country, but he's made his mark. So, in a way, there's a revival coming up in earthen architecture, but there's still much to be done. One of the things I think that has to come up is a code, a building code that captures use of mud, so to say, in construction and construction practice in Nigeria. So we hope with this kind of awareness, I think Tariq seems to be leading the way in this, that in the near future we can say we have mud architecture included in the building code in Nigeria. Now it's relegated to, people think it's just people who can afford to buy cement that use it. But now cement is almost 10,000 a bag. How many people can afford to buy a bag of cement? For the price of one bag of cement, you could get 2 or 3 bags, or even 4 bags way back then. So we're hoping that this continues, so that the revolution, so to say, can pick up and then continue. That we'll see a revitalization. I mean, surprisingly, you find that in Europe, especially Europe, they are going back to use of mud architecture, mud in quote. So it's shocking, So Tariq is leading the way. I think it's a good platform. It's a good initiative, and we hope that to continue, bring more people along, especially the professionals, learn about it, adopt it, and use it in their practices.
So we've heard from Stephen Makma. There's just a little background of some of our stuff. We're also into construction waste recycling. We don't throw anything away. There's so much embodied energy around us that one of the benefits of being a part of the Architects Resourcery is we learn so much and we conserve so much. Heritage conservation is not just something distant about your village, but it can even begin in your local community. So before we go on to our live interaction, we would just like to take a short movie break, if you can, a small movie break, because that's one of the things we do at the Architects Resourcery. We also do film. Thank you.
Welcome to the Architects Resourcery, a pioneering initiative dedicated to enhancing the professional development of architects with a special focus on Nigerian architecture. Our journey begins with comprehensive training programs. Here, architects develop hard skills through technical workshops on software tools like AutoCAD and Revit, and through immersive design studios. But it's not just about technical skills. We also focus on soft skills, offering leadership training and communication workshops to empower architects in their practice. Research is key in architecture. Our research skills development workshops equip participants with essential methodologies and data analysis techniques. At the Architects Resourcery, we promote African literature through our pop-up store, available at major architectural conferences. Here, we curate and publish works by African architects, providing editorial support to ensure quality and accessibility. Our commitment extends to the creation of a digital archive, showcasing notable Nigerian architectural achievements. This repository is a collaborative effort inviting contributions from architects and scholars alike. Storytelling is at the heart of our mission. Through documentaries, we shine a light on the cultural and historical narratives that shape our architectural landscape. Conferences and events play a crucial role in fostering community. Our annual architectural conference provides a platform for networking, knowledge sharing, and insightful dialogues. In addition, we publish a peer-reviewed architectural journal dedicated to Nigerian architecture, encouraging researchers and practitioners to contribute their insights. Our study tours offer participants first-hand experiences of significant architectural sites, allowing them to learn and appreciate diverse architectural styles. The Architects Resourcery is more than an initiative. It's a community dedicated to fostering a deeper appreciation of Nigeria's architectural heritage while equipping architects with vital skills for the future. Join us in our mission to inspire and empower the architects of tomorrow.
Thank you very much for watching that short video. We're going to go on and have a live interaction with another member of the resourcery. The Architects Resourcery consists of architects and members of the allied professions. We've been talking to profs. Well, Stephen Makoma is not in academics. We have a very seasoned architect in our midst, one of our many architects in practice that associate with the resourcery, and we'll also be having a listening to one of us, in person of architect Yinka Williams. She'll be coming up shortly, and she'll be sharing some of the things we do as a resourcery and harnessing on her years of experience in practice. While we wait for her to join us briefly, I just want to say that one of the things I've enjoyed as being a part of the resourcery is the one-stop shop nature of everything, where you can go and ask people for help in different areas. So you're an expert in this area, you get support in any other area that you need it. Architect Williams is a roofing expert, and I have, just from informal chats with her, enjoyed so much from her wealth of knowledge as a practitioner. She had worked with Nigerite and some other concerns. And one of her passions, we had her work with was the bookshops or the pop-up shop concept. For as long as I've known her, which is almost, I think is not almost, it's actually all my life. That's a story for another day. She's always been about books. So we have her here, and she'll be.
Good morning, Prof. I can hardly hear you anymore. I don't know if I'm live.
You're live,
Good
Ma.
morning, everybody.
Thank you.
Thank you
Morning,
very
Ma.
much. Good morning, Prof. Good morning, everybody. It's nice to be here. I'm happy to be associated with the Architects Resourcery, and it's a great job you're doing there. Thank you very much. Everybody at the helm of affairs in Jos, the base of the Architects Resourcery. And thanks to Prof for always being there for us all the way from Saudi Arabia. Well, I'm one person who says, when school for life, really? I mean, if we roll out for us every year, each time I attend a conference, a seminar, a webinar, I'm wondering, I thought I knew everything. I still have a lot to learn. And it's always fun to be back in class. One reason why we like to learn a lot is to be able to upgrade all the time. I thought I had learned a lot. I thought I'd almost reached maybe the zenith of my career, but every single day something surprises me, and it's always great to lend yourself to learn all the time. Why? Because you want to increase your knowledge base, you want to improve your proficiency, you need more capacity building. You have to learn a lot of new skill sets, like Professor Dodo said earlier on. Before you finish a project, another idea has come up. And there's also a lot of interesting networking opportunities that are created while you learn in the field. Look at all the professors that told us about the works and researches they're carrying out on building materials, just for our sake, to make our work a lot easier. And for that reason, we looked into this other area where we're looking at the body of works done by several African professional authors, not just Nigerians, but maybe we started with Nigeria. We found out that there are a lot of Nigerian architects who love to write papers, who love to publish books, all kinds of book genres, from the professional books to all kinds of books. We have a great author of The Military Wife. She's the wife of a military officer, and she's found it fit to write a book on the military wife. And of course, when you have books written by professionals like that, it becomes very interesting. It makes an interesting read. And before I leave the set today, who better to tell your own story for you? Don't allow anybody tell your story for you. You tell your story yourself. So I want to encourage us. If you haven't started to think of being an author, it's time to think of it now. I met a young lady 2 days ago. She's very young, very, very young. Maybe she did NYC about a year ago. I did NYC 39 years ago. And she's already written a book called The Basics of Building Construction. And I thought, this is brilliant. I mean, I didn't think of this all along. And she finished structural engineering in Yabatech. She's just done NYC. She's a publisher. And when the Nigerian Society of Engineers spoke about her book, they said, if you follow what is written in this book, your building will not collapse. I couldn't believe it. So what are we waiting for? Let us all also put our pens to paper. Apart from being academicians and practitioners, let's document a lot of things, publish them. They'll make good read for people. And the students are very lucky these days. They can read materials written by Nigerian architects, professionals. Well, in addition to what they also use in schools. I'm an advocate for Nigeria-made things. I'm sorry, I'm that biased about Nigeria, so we'll be showcasing a lot of books written by Nigerian authors like the Professor Sasonas, architects MB Bello, architect Larry Taurikoka. We have books written by Mr. Town Planner Toyin Ayinde, several other authors, architect Titi Adeleye, so many of them. So we'll ask you to look through our website. We sell them at pop-up stores, at various NIE events, and we sell books online. So contact us, books about construction, materials, new trends, new skills, all kinds of things. Thank you very much for having me. Prof, over.
Thank you, Ma. That was a good one. Honestly, if I may just add to what you said lately, you made mention of doing the Nigerian stuff. I remember when we were working on the CCMAS. CCMAS is now the benchmark for universities to just like the benchmark curriculum. I tell you, I remember the champion of this event, the Professor Okebukola, mentioned that all our photos, all our diagrams should be Nigeriana. He doesn't want anything, pick photo from the internet. No. I remember when I worked on the interior and furniture aspect. So I make sure the furniture I made while I was in Nigeria, the furniture I used, the photo I used for the book. CCMAS is a good one. I think CCMAS support that your idea. This is interesting. And thank you, Ma.
Thank you.
All right. Okay. Back to Prof. Ife. I think now we check this. All right.
Oh, before Prof. Ife comes, I forgot to say that. Yeah.
Oh.
I just forgot to mention that we also produce documentaries on, for want of a better word, the first generation architects that we can find. And so Architects Resourcery is not only about books, it's also about film production, the documentaries. Thank you. Over to you now, Prof.
Okay.
Dodo.
All right, thank you. Next is we would like to mark our upcoming conference by His Grace come this July. I think July 2025, we will be having the Architects Resourcery Conference, International Conference. We will soon post details about that. And I tell you, it will be a wow because we're having speakers from all over the globe. The last edition we had in Jos was a wow, but I tell you, this one will be a double wow. Wow. And this is one of the major events we're having in 2025. And we'll be having series of workshops and trainings. We'll be having the EDGE certification training. I tell you, this is for those who are aspiring to be the green architects, and even for the architects. When you undergo the training about EDGE, you'll be equipped with how your building should be sustainably inclined. And we'll also have trainings. Our training varies. We'll post them in our website. We'll have sustainable development in architecture. This is another training that we intend to, put in place. We have research method in the built environment. I tell you, when I did my master's and my undergraduate, research method was somehow. So I believe this will really help us. We'll be having research method in architecture, research method in the built environment. We'll have quantitative research techniques, and we'll have qualitative as well. I tell you, if you understand research is not all about statistics, and the other aspect of research. Basically, we have basically two methods, qualitative and quantitative. The aspect of qualitative is mostly neglected. For example, if you say observation, you can use observation and complete a whole PhD thesis. But how? With observation, you could get, better insight. For example, if you want to observe how people walk to school, if you want to design for school children, you would talk about observing. If you observe the way, you cannot go and ask this student question, but if you observe their pattern, you can easily come up with something. Those will be coming up with such courses, innovative materials, and we're going to be having AI and digital knowledge in the built environment. This is a key. And at the same time, we will not just be having these courses. We publish, Architect Inka Wele just mentioned, we publish books, and we're having training, not just for architects, like we mentioned. Our pillars, we're looking from primary school up till, while you are practicing. Because, learning is a constant, it's a process. For example, for the seniors, we want to introduce courses that will, gear us towards how to use AI, how to use CAD for the seniors, for those intermediate at the same time. And we'll be looking at for those in secondary school, those in primary school. We'll introduce courses that will make us entrepreneurially inclined. For example, welding, carpentry, fashion, beads making, you name it. These are some of the courses that will be, we'll kickstart. We'll let you know some of these courses, and we'll keep you posted. Prof. Efe, over to you.
Thank you very much, Prof. Dodo. Thank you very much, Architect Williams. A little bit of an echo. Yes, so in 2023, Great Blessings Christian Schools got an honorable mention at the International Union of Architects Congress in Copenhagen. And one of the things they did was this TGIF assemblies. And what many people did not know, and we didn't really project, was that the Architects Resourcery was at the heart of the curriculum. So in primary schools already we have what we call TGIF assemblies, where we go in and we talk to them about sustainability, teach them about recycling, teach them about earth architecture. So they said in her presentation that she wishes that more of these things that we do come to the public. And that's what we are all about, making sure that all of these things that we do actually come to the public. And so we're going to be kind of projecting some of our information. Somebody had asked, will we be sharing the slides of what we have said today? Certainly, we'll be rebroadcasting this as often as possible because we want people to join the movement. Many times, things like this that seem too good to be true and so simple to be a part of, people tend to overlook. But the movement is growing. We'll be posting information about our pop-up shops, our online stores. I think we have a flyer, a picture like that. You can show that. And we also have pictures from Tariq 2024, which we may wish to project, so that you get an idea of what we do. You can engage us on LinkedIn, you can engage us on Instagram, or our website, which is www.thearchitectsresourcery.com. Again, www.thearchitectsresourcery.com. And for me, my personal quest in 2024 is certainly going to be low-tech options on how to project the internet, because I understand my video is off. There's nothing I can do about that, because I'm still on. So I'll repeat it again, the Architects Resourcery.com. That's www.thearchitectsresourcery.com. And we'll be posting our numbers on Instagram, on YouTube, and on LinkedIn, where you can reach out. Now, for those of us that are online still, if you have any questions, please, you can type in your questions and we'll be happy to answer, whether they're on LinkedIn or YouTube. Please type in your questions and we'll be happy to answer. If we have questions or comments, we are happy to hear from you and we are ready to answer. You can project those. You can project any of the things that we do so that they get to see, and while we are entertaining questions and answers. Prof. Dodo and we do quite a lot of things for the Nigerian Institute of Architects, which of course is our overall umbrella body for architects and architecture in Nigeria. I think we worked on the NIA books of architecture. We just went to the Resourcery's database on architecture, because we have hundreds of buildings in our database, photographs, authors, and what looked like a hobby. People usually come and ask us, okay, so who's the architect of this? Who did this? What year was it? And so on. We have a lot of information that way. And we are also working on some documentaries of some of the architects. Well, we call them first generation, second generation architects. The documentaries, as we call them, that we have done are on second generation architects, but we are hoping to work on first generation architects very soon. The current one that we are scripting is on a second generation architect. I won't want to say too much about him until we've gotten to an advanced stage. Are there any questions? I'm checking.
I will reiterate, Ma, that we publish. So if you have your book, you are looking for a place to publish, you can publish with us. We publish. So if you have your book, you are looking for a place to publish, you can publish with us. We publish. So if you have your book, you are looking for a place to publish, you can publish with us. We publish. So if you have your book,
Where is this one? Okay, so we have some questions on LinkedIn. I'm going there. I saw a comment from, is it Olufunke Olunoyo, about being a part of the Resourcery. Yes, everyone is welcome to be a part of the Resourcery. We don't charge anybody to join, but we do ask that you follow all our channels and you invite more people to be part of the movement. We are growing a movement of architects. We are all privileged to be part of communities like Arc Daily, which is wonderful. But there's something that architect Yinka Williams said that is so profound to me. We need to start telling our story and not telling his story. You can just see in the background of me, this was Tariq. We had a huge focus on students. We had about 200 students coming, students in architecture, building, quantity surveying, fine and applied arts, urban and regional planning, geography, estate management. Yes, it's the Architects Resourcery, but we know that Architecton, we're talking about the master builder, We have a lively community that we, and somebody is asking about our website on yes, we have a website. It's under reconstruction, but I think you can still find some things there on our website. Part of the community are people that are in tech. We have a whole lot of tech contributors. I think the person that set up all of this is actually a software engineer. So the Architects Resourcery is architects, engineers, and so many other people. Architects Resourcery is in with every aspect of architecture and allied professions and society. If you get to watch our documentary, The Architect and Society, that was the one that we did with architect Inalego Ella, we get to learn a whole lot of stuff. After all, for those of us that study architecture, we know that in architecture school, we didn't just do courses on architecture. We did courses in building, we did courses in sociology, psychology, philosophy, and the like. And so I'm going to answer questions now from LinkedIn. So we have a question from Livingston. So I'm back in, and am I live now? Yeah. Okay, so these are some of the wonderful things we get by living in the kind of setting we do. We become very resilient. So we are back online. But while I was offline, you could see pictures of the concluded Tariq, which held at the University of Jos last December. Like Professor Dodo said, we are looking forward to the colloquium, or actually the conference. This year is going to be a conference in Abuja, and the call is out. We'll be sharing that once we've confirmed our venue. You can see from the pictures, erudite professors. All the people you are seeing here are professors. And what I love about it is that we don't just have the professors, we have the future, we have the students. I mentioned that we had over 200 students over the 2 days come attend the conference. You can see architects in practice, architects, and these are students. They're not just students of architecture, students from all over. And they did a lot of the recording, a lot of the projections, and so on. And it was in line with our vision. We're going to call it a wrap today. This is our first outing, and we'll be rebroadcasting an edited version of this, and we hope to reach a larger audience. For those of you that were able to join us on LinkedIn, on Instagram, and on YouTube, we are so grateful. Architect Resourcery still remains your one-stop resource for architecture and every other thing related. So this is Eric Oladisa, and I'm tuning out. Thanks for being a part of this. Have a wonderful day. Maybe I've loaded it. So we've come to the end of our broadcast today. Thank you so much. For those of us online, please post any of your questions on our group. We will surely get back to you. We'll find out what's going on with the network, and we will certainly be a part of all of that. Thank you very much. We are about to end our broadcast. Please join us again.